I opened up Level Up without a business plan. I've been in the fitness industry for 10 plus years. I know it's a seasonal thing. I know the patterns. I know how to work out. I know how to teach classes.
Right.
But doesn't mean that you know how to open a business or how to make it grow, right? So decided that we were going to find a space. So, okay, I'm going to bring this amount of money. I had a partner at the time. He brought, a same amount of money. We bounced out. We got money from our landlord from the spot that we found without knowing where we were going to spend this money, right? So your business plan is so important. Going forward, we found the space, beautiful space, ginormous, didn't realize that, okay, it's going to take a lot of renovation. So, all right, we got money, so let's just cash out and just put the money in there, right? We knew that we wanted to do classes. Mm-hmm. So just, we're going to, if you build it, they will come. We basically spent 3 months doing renovations day and night, spent money on equipment. We had some equipment that we brought in, but we wanted newer stuff and like pretty stuff, right? So blew money on that. And then everything was brand new, right? And then we didn't really know how to market. So we figured, okay, well, I'm kind of good on Instagram, so I'm just going to tweet. But then what am I tweeting, or what am I posting? Who am I reaching to, right? So, have no idea what our message is. All we did was we're fitness instructors. We're going to open a gym. That'll be it. And now that I think about it, it's such a big mistake because we opened up with, I think we had like $300 left in our bank account. Wow. And then we opened up and did a huge schedule coming from big box gym, like they have a structure. We just fit, okay, well, we'll do what they're doing and then we'll be fine. Right. Yeah. And we opened up and gave free classes. Why? like you've got no money, you've got no people, and then you're offering a free service. That's not doing anything good for you. Right. Mm-hmm. So we would have meetings and try to figure out, okay, so what are we supposed to do? And just couldn't come up with a balance. It's such a mistake to do because now that I think about it, if we would have just sat down and said, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we're good at. This is the amount of money that we have. Mm-hmm. We need to budget 100%, but we need to figure out what's going to work. And every business is like that. Whatever service or product that you want to do, you want to find your target audience, which we just fed community. What community? Everybody. So then we started opening it up. Okay, we'll do a family thing. Well, a lot of people don't like to work out. They purposely go to the gym to take a time out from their kids. Well, now I'm bringing kids in there, right? And we didn't have a model, so we would do, Zumba classes, spin classes, and then we'd end up sitting at the desk because no one was showing up. Like we did 6 a.m. classes, 9:30, 11 o'clock, lunch, let's be serious. We went all in with no money, and then it was a catching up game the whole time, right? And it takes a toll on a lot of people, and it takes a toll on, is this going to be the rest of it? Am I going to bring money home, or am I going to be able to, what am I doing, right? So eventually, I kind of went back into what is it that we're doing? No money was coming in. We were spending money more than you could make it. Mm-hmm. And, we were making new schedules every day, or, people weren't showing up, and, you have this humongous space and there's nobody in there. Right. Uh-huh. It's very frustrating. It was very frustrating when my vision or what I was trying to say and trying to do wasn't freaking working. Right. And I think that, my business partner and I kind of parting ways. I think that was the epic moment where I realized, fuck. Yeah. What the hell, right? So I thought that things were working out. Obviously, my side of the story, or my side of seeing things, wasn't being projected in the right way. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going what the hell am I supposed to do? Well, how am I supposed to go on with this, right? So right. I think that the epic moment was the moment that I realized, what the fuck? Like, is this going to be the rest of my life? Am I going to be chasing money, or am I going to be chasing my dream? We had a different perspective on business. You know, like I said, it's not because you build it that they will come.
Yeah.
It's not because you are a great instructor that people will come.
Right.
You know, you have to kind of build that credibility, right? So, you know, so we went through a really hard 6 months of being around each other, but like you're just being around somebody because you have to be, you know, like, you know, like it was mutual, right? Like, so like I'd walk in and then he'd walk in, I'd be like, and then he'd leave, I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, like that's not the dynamics that you want. It's gonna happen, but it's not continuously, you know. There was a lack of support on, you know, family sides, and, you know, there was a lot of chatter in people's ears, and, you know, but then finding out that, you know, he wanted out, really, you know, it hurts, right? Because you take it personally, right? I took it as, I'm like, okay, well, great, now nobody wants to be with, you know, wants to be around me. And it wasn't so much a personal thing as it was a business thing, right? And that's when you have to differentiate. I've experienced anxiety for my first time ever in my life, a lot of crying, a lot of what now, you know, what now? Do I continue? Do I fold? I came, you know, I was basically like, what do I do? What do I do? I came very close to just being like, you know what? Fuck this, I'm out. And like I said, just moving away. I like just getting rid of everything. But the passion and really my members, I didn't want to leave them down. I didn't want to let them down. I think I've mentioned to you before, I have a big ego. And being a woman owner, you know, it's a powerful thing for me to be in that position. And failure is very hard for me, you know. So letting go and just folding, and then what are people going to say to, like, about me? And I didn't make it through, you know, the first year and a half, and, you know, that to me, that ate at me a lot. And then I realized, you know, okay, after it took me a week of intense, you know, like talking to lawyers and figuring out how we're going to do this. And then him and I communicating in a very hostile, because I took it personally. Right. So, and then I'm trying to block it from the members so that they don't know what's happening. So it was a hard week, and then a hard 2 weeks after that to do the transition. So tell them, you know, he's not going to be there anymore. Things are going to flow the same way. Don't worry about it. You know, it's hard for me, and then moving forward, right? So that was a huge blow. So I went to school and I took a class at Sheridan College, and it was business management. And it basically said, if you're going to do something, write it out. You go to the grocery store, you make a freaking list, you know, like you have a plan. So I said, okay, so what I want to show people is, if you're going to do it, if you have an idea, no matter what service, product, or direction you want to take with your business, write it down. It could be on a napkin, it could be on a Kleenex, the back of your hand, but have a consistent plan and stick to it, right? So the who, what, where, when, why of your business. So write a story, right? So who are you? You are a fitness instructor. What do you do? Want to do fitness classes? What classes? Break it down, and then, you know, do surveys, open up to your members, because basically that's who you're serving. I opened Level Up with my mindset, with what I wanted to do, which is completely the opposite. You're serving people, not me, right? Like, they come to see me because they want this service, or they want to have this exercise or workout or whatever, right? It is about you, but it's not about you. It's about your customers or your members. And that's one thing that I didn't have in my business plan, right? Like, who am I catering to? Like I said, the community, great. They don't care. They've got, you know, other places that they can go to that will cater to exactly what they want. My dad was a huge supporter since the beginning, and supported me. And him being from a huge, you know, business background, really has shown me, you know, like, if you just calm down.
Yeah.
And if you just focus on, okay, do this step, move on, do this step, move on, right? So that's definitely helped to grow. And we celebrated our 3rd year, and I'm so proud.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a huge accomplishment, right? So I'm pretty proud of everything that I've learned. I've grown as a person, as an owner, but I've definitely helped myself, evolve, business wise, but also in my life. I was able to apply a lot of patience towards other things. I was able to help my friends, on mat leave with their creation on, they wanted to do some Instagram thing, and how do I do this and how do I do that, right now? So, and I've met some wonderful people throughout the way who, have helped me kind of, you should try this, and I know this person, and you make connection, and it grows. And then I've got, their wives are coming to work out with us, and their kids are asking me to come to their school and do things, right? So it's a very, very rewarding, it's just beautiful. I love what I do. I don't know if I folded what I would do. My resume would definitely be aged. But yeah, anyone can and open a business. You just have to stay focused and just remain true to yourself all the way.
So what would you say especially during those tough times where like you didn't know what was going on, you didn't know what to do, you didn't know how to feel? What was your driving force to get out of bed every morning? Like, what is your why?
My members. I have the best members. They're my family. I mean, I know a lot. They know a lot about me. I know a lot about them. They are the push. They are the drive. They are the why I do this, right? Like, I love being around a lot of people. I feed off that energy. Making someone smile or making someone realize that their lives are changing because they've done a lifestyle, 180 or 360, and they realize that, they feel better, they're more active with their kids, they see things differently. Like, they are the drive of why I do things. I have so many great stories and so many, positive things that I've done to a lot of people, and it's small, right? Like, to me it sounds really small, but to them it's a whole new life that they've never experienced before, right? They've seen it in social media, but the members have definitely helped, carry me through a lot of the hard times and a lot of the good times, right? Like, they're always there when we're doing events. They're always there when my personal, I moved into this beautiful condo a couple of years ago, and a lot of them helped me move without me even asking. So they're my family. We're the Level Up family, and that's, especially during the time when things were very dark, and I didn't know what was going on. They were definitely there to put perspective on it's going to be okay.
So with your experience now being in the fitness industry, for how many years would you say you've been in the fitness industry now?
12 years.
12 years. That's a lot. That's a lot of lessons and a lot of knowledge. What would you say are the biggest obstacles that you face working in this specific industry?
Well, competition and optics. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I've struggled with my weight. I've always been active my whole life. I played soccer at a very high level. I played hockey. I play baseball now, and I call it a beer league. But I'm very active. I played volleyball for many years at the beach. But so fitness, without pooping on it, is the most judgiest industry ever. If you don't look the look, it's very hard for people to. Nobody likes a skinny chef, okay? So, being overweight, an instructor being overweight is very hard to find credibility, right? Like, to prove that you are worthy
Right.
So, you know, so it's very judgy. As an instructor, you know, not towards the members or anything like that. You're there to help them, right? But
Yeah.
like I said, nobody likes the skinny chef. You're not going to trust the skinny chef. Nobody's going to, or it's going to be very hard for you to move forward and to show that you're worthy if you don't walk the walk, right? So a lot of my members ask me all the time, oh, how come you don't work out with us? It's very hard for me to participate, but to teach them proper form, proper structure, the right way to, you know, so like I have to put on many hats at all time. I do work out and I am active, but to join in all the time in the classes, it's very hard to, you know, get my own workout and then also like make sure that you get something out of it, right? So yeah, it's a very judgy industry. There's a lot of love in there as well, you know, like you find a lot of, it's a very small industry as well. You know, you think that, oh, everybody works out and everybody, it's very small. You'll know, your instructor knows an instructor that you worked with at this place and now they're at that place, you know, like it's very close knit, but it's very, very judgy on an owner and instructor side of it. And to work through that, I mean, you got to be true to yourself, and you got to know, you know, am I the skinny bikini model, or am I the CrossFit Jack girl, or am I I'm comfortable in my skin, I feel and I look good for myself, I'm just gonna go with it, right? So yeah, that's the hard part about the fitness industry. I don't regret going into this. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher my whole life. Went to school, took athletic therapy, got put into a situation where one of my instructors asked me, or actually she was my mentor at the time, asked me if I wanted to sub one of her classes. Fell in love with it. Love being in front of people, love, you know, that energy, being that crazy me for an hour, walking away so proud that I just did that. You know, that really, that's why I do it. I loved what I do. I'm still a teacher, but just with grown people.
You mentioned optics is one. You also mentioned it's highly competitive.
Very competitive.
About that, yeah. In what sense? Just like getting people's attention and.
On the business side of it, it's very competitive because there are so many of us out there, right? There's a yoga studio, there's a Pilates studio, there's a, you know, then there's the CrossFit studio, right? So there's a lot of us little pockets out there. Obviously you've got the big box that those are on their own category. But you know, it's very competitive. So if you lose a member, or if you don't cater to a certain demographic, they're just going to go somewhere else, right? You fuck up and tell somebody they're fat, they're going to go somewhere else.
Of course.
Pulling in those people from somewhere else, it's so competitive, right? So you got to keep it in your mind that you are doing what you want to do. You know, don't change. I'm doing spin and circuit. The gym down the street does personal training and you know, different things, and then the other one on the other side does, you know, yoga and Pilates, right? So that's you know, I'm not trying to branch off and, oh, well, maybe if I do yoga, they're all going to come here. I found my box, that is their box, but it's very competitive to pull in those people, right? So, and then not only that, but there are some people who are huge influencers in the community. So they say, oh, don't go there, they don't have water, or don't go there, like it stinks. Nobody's gonna go there. You know? So you got to make sure that you're always ready,
right,
for, you know, for anything. But it's on a business perspective, it's very competitive. You don't open a hair salon or a nail salon next to another nail salon. You know, you got to find your kind of like your circle, and then kind of cater to what you want to do, right, appropriately. So yeah, it's very competitive, and it all comes back down to optics. What do you offer, and how do they see it? Because if they don't see you on a bike chances are you're not gonna grow that spin class, right? And that's Nelson right there, my dog.
I know. Hey,
Just
buddy.
a little fur ball, but yeah, like it's very competitive.
Mhm.
And then also as trainers, right? Because like I said, it's back to optics, and the competitiveness in the fitness industry they go hand in hand, right? So if you're not doing something, if you're not working out, and they see that, they're not gonna, there's no credibility, like you're not growing yourself with your members.
Mm-hmm.
Just as if you're not showing up and you're saying that you're doing all these things, but you're not doing them. Right. They it's a very challenging thing at but if you have a plan, or if you know exactly what you want to do, there's no way of it going wrong. Stick to that plan.
That's good advice. So you're saying basically you wouldn't recommend trying to grab everybody. It's all about knowing what you want to offer, what you do, and speaking to the people who already resonate with whatever you're providing.
Absolutely. This all goes back to my fuck up story, because that's what we did, right? We opened up Zumba. We had core and butt classes. We had spin classes. We had, mommy and me classes, none of which I felt comfortable or I wanted to do, but let's do this because we have a member, or let's do this because somebody talked about it. Yeah. You're spreading yourself so thin and so across the board that what are you doing? Like, you can't, there's no way of sustaining that, and there's no way of you making everybody happy. So knock it down, bring it back.
So you mentioned your previous experience. You've worked, I think it was 10 years or something, maybe probably more, working for big box gyms. So my question to you is, how do you compete as a boutique gym? How do you compete with these big box gyms with ample resources, ample financials,
So I figured out what worked for us. Mm-hmm. So in Port Credit, there was one spinning studio. Gears was the place to go, that's where everybody did their rides, right? I found a niche that wasn't being catered to. Mm-hmm. And I opened it up. I provide a service that isn't in competition with others close to me, right? Like, so big box gyms have a lot of, like you said, a lot of resources, but they don't cater to a specific group. It's very open, right? So a lot of people, especially in January and September, mm-hmm. go to the gym to get fit because that's, they want to have a new year. They want to, but there's no big love, right? Like, because we're a boutique, we're very close together. So the rapport that I have with every single one of my members is very personal. Right. And I think that's why we stand aside, or we're a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's the same thing for a lot of small, boutique fitness places. Yeah. You find the niche that works for you in that demographic, and then connect with people, right? Like, I mean, I was an independent contractor for a long time for, I think it was like 5 different gyms. So you're bouncing around. Yeah. You're there for a little bit, but the connection that I made with my members in the class was all I had, right? Like, I didn't really talk to the admin people. I never saw the owners. Mm-hmm. You see faces, but that close-knit rapport that you have is so personal and means so much more. Like I said before, right? That human contact will beat all, right? So big box gyms, they have their own thing, and they specialize in, they got a pool and they do squash, but there's so much of it, right? They don't have that close community. And Level Up is all about community, right? We're in Port Credit. We're helping out with the Force. No, that's not his name. Terry Fox Run. The Terry Fox Run. We do breast cancer because I have members who have been affected, or they are part of this organization. So we did the dragon boat races because I had members who asked me to join, so we did it, right? So I think that us standing out is more about that personal rapport that we've created.
Yeah.
And you can't find that in, it's like if you go to Home Depot or you go to mom and pop shop, right? Like, mom and pop they're gonna try so hard to get you that product. Home Depot, you can go online. It's so impersonal, right? So
for people who are thinking about just starting their business, do you have any tips that will help them be successful or put them on the right path to success?
Research. Research. So like I said, there are a lot of resources like at the business center in Mississauga, but research, what service or product are you trying to put out there, right? So, you're trying to open up a restaurant. How many restaurants are in this area?
Right.
What food are you what's your theme, right? So what services or products are you putting out there? How are you going to get those projected and put out there, right? So do a lot of research. If you're going to go and open up a business, where you're going to open up, how big do you want the space? How visual do you need to be? We were, our first spot was an industrial, it was an old auto repair shop. It was a beautiful space, but we were so tucked in, you couldn't even see it from the road. And then trying to geo whatever the location and then tell people how visual do you need to be? If you're a catering business that just does at-home services, you don't need to be front street, right? Like you don't need to be storefront. You just need to be in a space. How are you going to, money? How are you going to pay for all this? Where's the money coming from? Do you have thousands of dollars in your bank account that you've been saving to put as a down payment to, rent, pay the lawyers, open up a bank account, have employees? Where's the money coming from?
Right.
And then if you go to the bank and you get a loan, well, how big of a loan and what's the interest rate? It's just like buying a house, right? Like you go for your mortgage, you want to find out what the interest rates are, or how do I pay for this? And then if you're gonna do this in the long run, how much do you want to make, right? So how much is your business? Well, not worth to you because it's mostly priceless in your heart, but so like your revenue. So like how fast can you generate revenue to pay yourself and to be able to survive? How long can you go without getting a paycheck? So again, you got to separate business and personal, but they go at the beginning, they go in hand. So my biggest thing that I tell people now, which I should have applied when you get so excited in the moment of doing something. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Chill out. Chill out. Do a lot of research, right? Like ask questions to people who are already doing it on it. If you know somebody that in the food industry, or if you worked in the food industry for a really long time, doesn't mean that you know how to run a business. Doesn't mean that you know how to work out, that you are a great fitness instructor.
Right.
So it doesn't mean that you know how to, write, on a piece of paper, that you know how to do cursive. It's you've got to do a lot of research, right? And I wish I would have done that opening it up, because I'm sure that I would be in a different, who knows, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I think I would have been on a completely different mindset. I probably wouldn't have gone with that big ass space that we had that was way too much money, that it was over. The idea was there, the execution was shit, and like now I know, right? I have a better space. It's catering to a better population and a better group of people. The services that we provide they're accommodating to what I wanted to do from the beginning.
Right.
And they keep it in my mind. It's easy to kind of every day to play with. So, like I know what my routines are. I know which days of the week, what has to be done, throughout the month. And there is no shame in having thousands of Post-its around your computer. Okay. Post-its all the way. But yeah, do some research. Take your time, negotiate. If you get a lease, ask, first of all, have it reviewed by a lawyer. Find all the clauses in there, make sure that you know exactly what is in that lease, front and back. There's no problem if something were to happen.
Right.
Be in constant communication with your landlord or, the person that is there providing you the space.
Yeah.
But negotiate, if let's say, you open a space and you have to do some renovation, ask for extension on when the rent starts, right? You can ask 3 to 6 months. Most of the time the space has already been there, empty. So to them, they're not losing much. They've already, it's either already paid for. So, and then it helps you kind of build that, that revenue or that reserved in your bank account, right? So like everybody should have at least 3 months of savings or a buffer in your bank account in case shit happens. Right. So you got a good month, put a lot into that. You got a shitty month, at least you've got some money to pay the rent and pay the bills or pay your employees and whatever, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, we did that's what was our mistake too. We opened up with nothing in our bank account. The first rent came out, sucked it all up, and then we're like, oh shit, now I have to run to the end of the other month to make just enough money to pay for everything, and then what? So I think researching and being super prepared with your business plan it's a great thing for a business to move forward and to accomplish what you're trying to do, right? Like your dream is only a dream if you just talk about it. You gotta make sure that everything is planned out aimlessly, like just so, like you got to be so on top of it.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in going and asking for help